Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am Many Ninjas, and welcome to the very delayed part 2 of Retro Ninja Gaming's run on Rockman 4 Minus Infinity. For those not familiar with this particular ROM hack, it's basically take your copy of Rockman 4 and start adding a bunch of different elements from the assorted Game Boy games as well as some cameos from other NES titles. We're officially back from an unplanned hiatus in the middle of doing some country-related titles, as well as picking up some additional equipment that will make further runs in this particular series a lot easier. Because let's face it, the Mad Catz controller was just not cutting it. Anywho, here's a little excerpt from a missing part of the drill man stage I couldn't get to. Namely, because I couldn't get the Saku Grenade to reach a certain point in the stage, we missed this hidden battle here with Crashman, or Clashman, however you prefer to call it. In this rematch from Mega Man 2, Crashman here is completely with his original pattern, aka he won't really do anything until you decide to fire first. He'll just be happy content to run around back and forth through the stage until you actually decide to fire. Of course, once you get to his desperation mode, that'll start changing very shortly. And we're about there right now, so having one more hit and we'll do it. There we go. Once you get him to around half life, he'll start jumping around and firing his crash bombs on his own free volition, firing in this case 3 bombs instead of the traditional 1. Fortunately, the bombs don't actually hit you until they actually explode, although with the sheer amount of bombs that are going on at this point, it does make it a bit more difficult. And in this case, it turns out that was not really Crashman at all, but just a clever hologram. And for anyone who's played the Game Boy games, you'll recognize these from Ballad's stages in the Game Boy title of which he came from. And we now have a hidden item complete with Metroid-themed music. Now time to tackle Pharaoh Man with the proper controller, because the first runs look like this. Fortunately this time around we have a proper PS2 controller which we use with the emulator we have on hand. In this case we start beaming in and we are automatically introduced to the theme of this particular stage, curses. If you've noticed by the little text that is going on just below Mega Man's life bar there, it will come up with a few different descriptions going along, which help describe exactly what is being done in order to alter the game, and most likely make it more inconvenient for everyone involved. In this case, nothing is going on right now because there's no subtitle. The first two had reverse controls as well as uncontrolled hopping, aka Mega Man will be forced to do a jump at what's supposed to be fairly random intervals, but admittedly they're pretty spaced evenly for the most part. And there'll be several other curses going along as the stage goes on. At this point, we're entering the inside of the pyramid and we're afflicted by the next curse, Berserker, aka automatic firing at this point. If you had a Robot Master weapon equipped at this time, you would be wasting all its ammo right now. Roulette pretty much has you cycling through all the different weapons you have going at the time. And thankfully, that would be normally a big problem with jumping, but he's happy to jump to his own death there. Here we go with hopping again, which is really inconvenient because if you go too far down on the quicksand there, you will indeed fall to your death. Luckily enough, the hop is at least close enough being similar that it won't cause too much problem. New curse, minimum. You can only have one shot on the screen, and pretty much it'll be a very slow moving shot at that best. Fidget has you automatically moving forward, while slipping is similar to Fidget, but instead you're constantly sliding. This is also not a really good place to have the reverse curse because you can easily accidentally sink to your doom there. Moving on, anyone who has played the Rockman and Fort game will recognize that from Groundman stage, as we just kind of jet through this particular part of the stage. Before anyone can mention in the comments, as we go through this now fire-filled area here, yes, I'm aware that the top kind of Pharaoh head, or whatever it may be called, did indeed have an E-tank in there, but during my runs where I actually collected it, I usually took too much damage in order to make good use out of it, as I'm now taking a stupid amount of damage on that one hothead. And no, that's failed run. But thankfully enough, we have the midpoint here, which is still fairly close here, and another thing which makes using a kind of a weapon master, thank you for every one up, a weapon master item really bad in this location is because due to the Berserk mode, you'd be wasting all your ammunition very quickly at that point. and considering that I'm going to be needing it later on very shortly, I don't want to do that. Fortunately, I remember that I do in fact have Drill Man's weapon at this point, which makes a lot more efficient use of getting through this particular stage rather than spamming the Rockbuster. For those that are curious, lava that's rising and falling on this particular stage is not lethal, which is really rare for a Mega Man game, but unfortunately, due to the shortened invincibility frames, you'll be taking an obscene amount of damage if you do get caught in lava, and you'll be dead within a few seconds anyway. Moving onward, mini-boss in the form of Shadow Man again. Most Shadow Man fights in this game start off in the same general fashion, with him hopping around throwing stars for the most part, or once you get him a little low on health, he'll start using a gimmick that is individual for each stage. In this case, he starts using assorted magical items or just general tricks he has in his sleeve, which include a sword to rip off of curry moves, a level ground flame there, and there's at least one more that I can personally think of. It's kind of like a water slide attack, which thankfully he hasn't thrown that just yet because it actually comes out pretty damn fast and will knock you all the way back. Whereas at least with the electric spark, oh, there's the one I was talking about. At least with the electric spark and the ground explosion, you can at least get out of the way far enough where you're going to be able to dodge it pretty well. Thankfully, he's still fairly easy to dispatch, despite the fact that I kind of did a bad job there. So we're going to just abuse the search item in order to refill the health as well, as hopefully maybe get even an E-tank or two. Okay, Rush, anytime now. Yep. And one more. Good dog. I personally think this next part of the stage is particularly evil because you have a nice section where you're hopping over these lava elements here, and as you can tell by the item just below the health bar, the controls have been reversed yet again. So basically you have to deal with backwards controls on rather specific jumps while you're trying to dodge enemies there, and ouch, this can end very badly. Okay. Probably that should have killed me in one hit, but quite frankly I'm happy it did not, so now we're dodging these nice little statues here, which took off a stupid amount of health there as I began slipping randomly. And we move into a last little bit just before the official Fairman fight, where I blew up the statue and yet I lost anyway. I did not know that was possible there. Anyway, the fidget status prevents you from being able, better status prevents you from being able to walk normally, and only appears at one part of the stage. Now with that last sarcophagus down, let's proceed to the proper Fairman fight, which sends us all the way back to the start of the stage. First part of the fight is actually really easy. It almost feels like it's actually more dumbed down than the original Fairman fight. But once he turns pink and goes into desperation mode, now the fight just got interesting. His barrel shots are now much larger and will be doing a considerable amount more damage. And also on top of getting a little health back there, he can now inflict curses on you mid-battle, which includes fidget and minimum off the top of my head as his health gets even lower. AKA you one shot, you better make it count. In this case, I need an E-tank just in case, because I'm not going to die at this point. And thankfully the use of Drill Man's weapon does a lot more damage than your standard Mega Buster and puts this one to bed. If this fight were to last longer, you'd see the background there get even more trashed, by the way. Alright then, moving onward, we now have the revised Fairman weapon, Pharaoh Shotgun. And that's enough for this particular run. The next episode in Retro Ninjas Gaming's run on Rockman 4 Minus Serenity will be coming much sooner, probably later this week, and I'll catch you all then. Bye.